Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro by Mapper Forward, friends. I'm your host, Lee Safar, and today on the podcast, joy amongst the chaos of 2022. Not that 2021 wasn't chaotic, it was for many of us, but as I've said in previous episodes recently of this podcast, it is my belief that 2022 is going to be more chaotic, despite how exhausted we all are. You know, a lot of us have no longer got the bandwidth or the capacity or the stamina to keep up with all the rubbish that the media keeps sensationalizing and all of this kind of stuff that's going on with the supply chains and the coffee industry. A lot of us have just got to the end of what we're capable of dealing with. And so with the mindset that we're managing for us within Mapper Forward and for clients of Mapper Forward, the focus for 2022 is joy. And I thought it would be important for us to discuss the joy amongst the chaos of 2022 and how we, despite the chaos of 2022, can go in with the intention of joy and how we can execute on that consistently through 2022. Before we get started, if you are looking for some help getting successful and experiencing 2022 with joy, consider Mapper Forward's consulting services. Check the show notes for links. So it's December. It's the end of the second year of a new decade that is proving to stress test all of us. Whether that stress comes with major financial success and great business, or it comes with the demise of a business and a career. Either way, everybody's getting stress tested these first 2 years of this new decade. And there are different organizations and different people out there that are being active participants in, sensationalizing different things, hyping things up in the media, tricking people into wondering what they should and what they shouldn't believe. A lot of us no longer know what truth is and what truth isn't, and what can you believe and what can't you believe. You know, podcasts are a great way for you to find people who you believe have integrity and stick with them. But traditional forms of media and organizations, even within the coffee industry, organizations within the coffee industry have an agenda that require you to buy their products or pay fees so that you can fall in line with what their agendas are, only to realize that they have a different agenda than what you assumed they did. And that has eroded our faith in many things, and it continues to happen. And so as we move into 2022, I noticed that a lot of our clients are exhausted. We're exhausted. A lot of people who listen to the podcast are exhausted, and I'm exhausted. So perspective is everything. I'm not a rah-rah positive person. What I am, though, is a realist. And I know that in a very real way, that if you can take the perspective of the intentionality of joy and finding joy in building something and working towards something that is meaningful to you, that no matter what kind of chaos is going on around that, you will enjoy it. And it will enhance your life. And so what we're doing at the moment with all of our clients is working on what does joy look like and creating very specific goals around what that means for 2022. So I want to share with you the general philosophy of how we're doing that and the general approach, and invite you to do that for yourself. Step 1, choose either 3 big things or 12 smaller things that you have chosen, not that you want to achieve, but that you've chosen achieving in 2022. And there's a big difference between wanting something and choosing it. But that's for another episode. So pick either 3 big things or 12 smaller things that you have chosen to achieve or chosen achieving in 2022. Now, these can't be things as wishy-washy as I want to be rich, or I want to be happy, or I want to own a business. Those are far too ambiguous and subjective. We need to get very specific. So specific means I choose saving $10,000 by the end of 2022. I choose opening my first pop-up in 2022 and getting specific about what that pop-up is. I choose ending a professional relationship within 2022. Those are some specific examples of goals that you can go into that will absolutely create joy. Now, here's the thing. You'll know that it's the right goal to set for you if when you imagine what it would feel like to achieve it, the joy is the feeling that you feel from that. Now, that's not saying that it's not going to be hard to achieve it, but the joy that you will experience from achieving that very quantitative goal will make the journey worthy of your time and your effort. And it will be hard work, but it will not exhaust you the same way as working against or working in things that don't bring you any meaningful joy in your life. So once you've determined what those goals are and you have assessed that they will bring you the joy that you're seeking, then the idea is to write down all the steps that you would need to achieve each of those goals. Write them down and then prioritize them in order of what needs to come first, and then second and third and fourth. Now, once you've done that, you just need to organize your year and get very specific about how you create that task. So if you've chosen to end a specific business partnership in 2022, the kinds of things that would be required to make that happen is there are some legal elements to that. There are some interpersonal conversations that need to happen. There is some private ideologies that need to be addressed behind what got you into that relationship in the first place that may have broken down. So perhaps some therapy that needs to happen. There is a plan that needs to be written about what happens after if you need to move into a different job or open another business. Those are 4 things that we've just mentioned there that then need to be broken down even further into, okay, so if I do need to get some therapy, what do I need to do in order to make that happen? I need to perhaps ask some friends for some recommendations of therapists, find the finances to do that, or is it covered under my healthcare? How do I engage the services of a therapist? How do I feel about approaching a therapist? And what do I want to get out of it? And so we've broken that down even further with regards to the legal information that you need to get from that. Okay, so I need to find a lawyer. I need to engage my accountant. Where do I find a lawyer? Could I talk to my accountant about that? Is it a good idea to speak to the accountant that I share with my business partner? Or should I find somebody else to discuss? Now, can you see that going through the process of asking those questions raises up some strategic planning that's required to do this? Now, as you start to drill into all of these steps that need to happen, you're starting to see your year take shape. Then take that and put it in a calendar and spend some time really looking at and visualizing yourself taking action on each of those things. And it's a lot less hippy-dippy, wishy-washy, woo-woo than you think. It's about having a clear plan. When you visualize something, it helps you assess, actually, can I do this or can't I do this? Could I see myself going into therapy? Not really. Okay, why not? I know that I need this. What's stopping me? Is it my pride? Why don't I go see if I speak to somebody else who I know that's gone into therapy? Or why don't I go and Google, what do I do if I can't find a therapist or if I'm scared of going to therapy? Check out some conversations on podcasts of people who have felt the same as you. But going into next year with a more clear plan of how you intend to cultivate and create the joy that you've chosen for your life is going to be a very solid, calming factor on how, despite all the chaos that the world will experience in 2022, you will have a clear trajectory of what you've got to focus on in your life. And you won't be completely quarantined from that chaos, but you will have an idea of the way that you are going to move through the year, and you will be able to duck and weave the chaos in a proactive way rather than reacting to all of it as you move through the year. This is the way that I approach my life. This is the way that we're working with clients across the world with Map It Forward. So this is a kind of approach that crosses cultural boundaries. It's about being not only practical, but being self-aware and respectful of where your boundaries are, what you're ambivalent about. And it invites you to very clearly invite joy into your life in a way that you are the person who is responsible for creating it. And that can be incredibly empowering. Peace, love, and peanut butter, friends. Have an amazing rest of your day.